Latitude. So maps and map making. So first off, maps are flat models of a three-dimensional object. And mainly we have maps. A globe is really the best representation of the Earth, but it's hard to carry around with us. Maps fold up neatly and you can carry them around with you. Maps have been used for thousands of years to define borders and to find places and mark locations of places, etc. Cartography is the science of map making. Cartographers use an imaginary grid to locate exact points on Earth. And the main grid that's used is latitude and longitude, or sometimes called lat-long. There is another set of coordinates called UTM coordinates, which are Universal Transmercator coordinates, but we're not going to talk about those. But they do exist. So latitude. So the equator is a line that horizontally circles Earth halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole. So the equator is halfway between the North and the South Pole. It splits the Earth into northern and southern hemispheres. And this does have a geographical basis because it's literally halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole. So it's a nice geographical basis for this. Unlike longitude, which we'll get to later. So latitude lines, or lines of latitude, are lines on a map that run parallel to the equator. And again, these are called, the lines themselves are called lines of latitude or parallels. So latitude actually measures distance in degrees north or south of the equator. So the equator right here is 0 degrees latitude. And the North Pole up here is at 90 degrees north. And the South Pole is at 90 degrees south latitude, respectively. So North and South Poles are 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south, respectively, means that these are in order. Measurements north of the equator are in degrees north. So 0 to 90 degrees north are my range of measurements. That is all we can have. It can be somewhere between 0 and 90 degrees north. And really 0, you don't say 0 degrees north or south. It's just 0 degrees latitude. Measurements south of the equator are in degrees south. So 0 to 90 degrees south latitude. So again, latitude, our equator, is 0 degrees. Latitudes north of 0 degrees are this way, up to 90 degrees north. Coming south, you have measurements down to 90 degrees south. Okay. And technically, we do call these higher latitudes. If you're towards the poles, you're at higher latitude. You're at lower latitudes if you are near the equator. Now, what this actually is, it is a measurement. It's an angular measurement. Since it is in degrees, it is an angular measurement. So you go from the equator to the center of the Earth, back out to the point on the surface, and then that angle right there, theta, that angle is the measurement that you have. Now, you can translate that into miles and feet and inches and meters and stuff on the ground, but it's really just an angular measurement from the equator to the center of the Earth back to wherever the point is on the surface of the Earth. Now, degrees of latitude. So 1 degree of latitude is about 111 kilometers on Earth's surface. Like I said, we can translate this. How do we come up with that? Basically, Earth's circumference is about 40,000 kilometers. If you take 40,000 kilometers divided by the 360 degrees in a circle, you end up with about 111 kilometers. Okay. So if you don't believe me, put that in a calculator. Minutes, so 1/60th of a degree. So we take degrees and we break those up into, each degree is broken up into 60 minutes. So a minute is 1/60th of a degree. And if I take my 111 kilometers divided by 60, I get 1.85 kilometers. So 1 minute of latitude is 1.85 kilometers. And the symbol for this is an apostrophe. Seconds, so just like on a clock, We divide minutes up into 60 seconds. So every minute is 60 seconds, or 1 second is a 1/60th of a minute. And that translates to about 30.8 meters. So if I take my 1.85 kilometers, I divide that by 60, I get 30.8 meters. And the symbol for this is what looks like a little set of quotation marks. So an example of how you write this out: Washington, D.C. is at 38 degrees, 53 minutes, 23 seconds north, at least the center of the city. And again, our angles here, so we have 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So then 1 degree is actually 3,600 seconds.